a joke at the start. The sexiest person on the first video, you know what I mean? He's sexy.
I love
He come in, you complimented his kid straight away.
I love it.
Yeah, that made me feel good.
Yeah, he knows how to make a man feel good.
When you wear a match,
Yeah, she's
you're
butter-
fucking
she's butter,
200 centimeters tall, you know?
You know what I mean? Ready?
Is that the big clap?
Shut up.
I like that, Zav. Thank you so much for jumping on the Funny Business podcast in the studio today, mate. And you're looking very, very nice. Very handsome man. Like you said, is he the most handsome man that's been in the studio?
Well, as soon as you come in, Zave, Rob just complimented on your kit straight away, and it was just, you were going goo goo gaga.
No, thanks, boys. I appreciate you having me, and yeah, it really made me feel a bit better when I walked in when Rob got around me, and so nice little feedback as you walk through.
Well, this is the first time we're on video, so for the people at home watching on YouTube, hello to you and welcome. I don't know, should we give them a hello and welcome?
I like that. Hello and welcome. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Well, first guest episode we've got on the video, and of course we got the sexy Xavier Morgan here from Superboost. Something you sent across the sample. When was it? Maybe
I reckon it would have been 18 months ago.
yeah, it was
Give or
ages
take.
ago.
Probably
Yeah,
was.
because they were smaller
Yeah, they were just
Yeah.
a little sample
with the
little
sticker.
sample packs. Yeah,
yeah.
with the sticker.
Was that the
Really-
first batch?
That might have been. No, it wasn't. It wouldn't have been the first batch.
I've been telling everyone it's the first batch.
I
I got the
wouldn't have
first
He
batch.
loves that.
Oh,
Yeah,
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 I'll tell you. Yeah, it was the first batch.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have been that confident to send you the first batch, to be honest. So
Yeah,
it probably
yeah.
was the 15th batch, maybe.
Yeah?
I reckon. Yeah, we did 21 formulations, so it would have been up there.
So how did it all start? Like, what's the story of Superboost? Like, what's the origin of like we need to make this fucking product?
Yeah, it is a fascinating story, and it's one that, as I say, you'll probably look at me and go, that probably doesn't sound that true, but yeah, myself and our co-founder Tom Phillips, who now plays footy for the Hawthorn Footy Club, we've been mates for probably 8 or so years from playing footy together in the pathways and through Oakley and Metro and those pathways. So in late 2019, I just had a heart surgery, which we can touch on later, but Tom had just come back from being overseas with World Vision and doing some stuff there, and I wasn't in a great way with my health, and Tom looked after me for a fair bit, and we were just chatting around. I was previously working in allied health goods, so that's as captivating as that sounds. Was real just machinery and working with those wholesalers, and as a young fellow, it was a good experience. Like I had a really nice role there and had a lot of responsibility, but I wasn't that happy. And then obviously going through what I was going through, I wanted to do something more. And yeah, Tom at the same time was doing a lot of stuff overseas, and he'd be happy for me to say, but at the time thought he was going to get traded that year. So he was looking at what else we can do, and we had a connection, a funny one, through horses with a lady called Fleur, who she was running Powerade at the time in Australia, or the new growth section in Powerade, and we reached out to her and thought, Tom wasn't drinking Gatorade and Powerade and all the other sports drinks, and
Why? Why?
just because.
Because they're full of sugar and I reckon.
I'll let you say that. I'll steer
I'll
clear
say
of-
my first thing when I first went to Richmond and I was on. We were having because they're at every training, they've all got them up there.
That's with the sponsorship piece.
I had to go to the dentist and I had 3 fillings within my first season because my teeth were fucked.
Yeah.
Because we were drinking so much sports drink.
But I was having 3 Gatorades a night.
You still do, don't you?
No, I've stopped it for about a
I
year.
hope not.
No, for about probably 2 years there, I would put about 2 or 3 Gatorades in the freezer, have them like Slurpees, and have them before bed. That's the worst thing you could do, and I haven't done it for about a year now. But that was a bad habit for me.
That's a shocking habit.
It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's true. Like based on what you said, Rob. Like, they weren't drinking it for those reasons, and they were forced drinking. And it was funny. One day, Tom sent me a video, which he probably shouldn't in hindsight, but they were all pouring out the Powerades into the bathroom, all the players, and then filling up with water. So we just said, if Tom, who at the time I think he was the second most meters covered by a player in terms of running power in that year, and he wasn't drinking it, then probably the everyday athlete shouldn't be drinking Powerade and Gatorade as well. So we both thought and had a look at our life scenarios and networks we had and the people around us, and we're really lucky to have good people. We thought may as well have a crack at it, and Fleur confirmed there was a massive opportunity that they weren't going to touch because they didn't feel like they needed to. We thought we'd be the ones to have a look at the opportunity and then mould it to what we wanted and what we thought there was a market for, and that's kind of how it started, and it flowed on from there.
So you go from, all right, cool, there's an opportunity. It's very different. A lot of people have ideas and they want to do stuff or they want to start a business.
Yeah.
Sports drinks or in a category like this to now have what you have in our hands, you're stocked in all these crazy places. Like, is it cool to reflect on how far it's come from their original idea?
Yeah, it's amazing. We're not massive at patting ourselves on the back. Like, I think and when you're in it, you guys know, like when you're in it, you just kind of move on to the next thing. What's that day's issue? Or what's that week's issue? What's the goal? But looking back at it, especially the last couple of weeks, having our team down and getting the campaign coming in the next couple of months, and seeing all those things come to fruition, it is super rewarding to see. We're pretty naive back in the day when we started, in the sense that we thought it'd be pretty easy: make a liquid, fill a bottle, sell the bottle. It can't be that hard. And had we known it would be this challenging back then, maybe it would have been a little bit different. But the two of us are pretty resilient in terms of what we've both been through, and then also, the feedback and everyone who's helped us along the way makes it really easy, to be honest. And it's enjoyable. I think there's nothing we'd rather be doing. The hardest days in what we do is probably easier than what the best days of doing something else would be. So, I think it is rewarding now looking back on it, to be honest, and exciting to see where we can get to. Like, the world's kind of open up to us, and people are willing to do things for us they probably shouldn't. So that's also beneficial and makes us feel real confident in terms of where we're going. So
limitless opportunities, I love it. What were the first couple of batches like? Did you always know it was going to be the mango, and we got the strawberry watermelon, which is fucking insane?
Yeah.
What? How were the first couple concoctions? Did it taste like dirt, or was it good, or was
tastes like dirt?
No, it was probably worse than dirt, to be honest.
Really?
It was. We kind of had a rough idea of, we wanted it to be low calorie, low sugar, but still have the functional carbs for the everyday athlete, which is kind of what we were looking for, but still feasible for the elite athletes. So we had those rough guidelines, and obviously natural. We wanted it to be in a Tetra Pak, doing work with them. So they were the parameters. But we tried a few things. We tried a lot of we tried a berry called a Schisandra berry, which was really good for performance, but it just didn't work in a drink. It would taste good when you first make it, and then you'd bottle it or do a little production run on it, and it would be fermented by week 3. So it was just those type of things which, the first batch was shocking.
Taste is crucial though, isn't it? Because you can have the best marketing, you can have the best everything else, but if it tastes like shit, it's not going to last, is it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the first pieces of feedback we had was, at the end of the day, all the other stuff is fluff if it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
And then all the other stuff, if it tastes good, that's a non-negotiable. But then if the price is too high, again, it doesn't matter about all the other stuff. So it's just working back from there. And so, we took the time to make sure the taste was right, because it is the most crucial point. And in the end, I think I was saying to you guys before, but we did 21 different formulations. So it took us 18 months to get to a point where we were pretty happy. And we could have launched probably from anywhere from formulation 10 to 15, and then we changed a few things in between. But we did a lot of research and got the actual quantifiable data on consumers and what they were wanting before we actually went to market. And Tom, I think that's a really good skill of Tom's, is he's really patient and knows what is going to work and doesn't rush things, whereas I'm more, we've got to get this done by this timeline and we've got to do this. So I think we even ourselves out, and so 21 formulations, and pretty happy with where it sits now. So
did you have the lab coat on? I would have the lab coat on.
The goggles up for
And then swirling.
You mentioned off air that you were going through a bit of health stuff yourself at the same time as Superboost sort of kicking off. Can you go through a bit, what was that like, and the process of trying to juggle a startup and going through a fair bit of shit yourself?
Yeah, I think it's when I look at it broadly, it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, because as a young fella, I played footy. I probably didn't work hard enough, and I knew there was a reason for it. I just never really looked at it or went and see a doctor, and ended up finding out as when I was a top ager, I think, at Oakley, I had a heart condition which was due to my sac around your heart, which had an issue with it. I won't go into too many details, probably you'll lose your listeners then. But I stopped playing footy for about a year, and then had surgery in late October 2019, my first heart surgery, and that was pretty challenging at the time. This was before we started Superboost, but kind of put us on the pathway. So I didn't walk for about 7-8 weeks post that surgery, and lost about 35 kilos or so in that process.
So just in bed or on the couch?
I was in hospital for I think 2.5 weeks, and then went home and just was in my mum and dad's bed at I think I was 21 at the time, and so that was pretty challenging. Sorry. So there was an 8-week period, and then once I started moving, I was pretty miserable, if I'm honest. Mentally, it was really challenging not being able to train. I was, regardless of my heart stuff previous, I was always really disciplined in my training. Once I realised and matured a bit, I trained and was really regimented with my schedule, my food, and all that sort of stuff. So not being able to do that, I had a bit of lack of purpose, I think, at that time, and it just so happened that Tom at the same time was feeling the same way around his career and where he was heading, and wanted to do a bit more. So from there, we obviously started Superboost, and then I had another surgery in mid 2020, so just during COVID, another heart chest surgery, and then I actually injured my back after that surgery because I was probably going too aggressive in my training, thinking that surgery had fixed my heart and I was good to go. So then the painkillers and a few other things I struggled with. Not sure how much detail you would want me to go on that. Probably not a great thing to go into detail on, but
no, it's important that people know that you can get. I've been caught in that trap too.
Yeah.
When you have an injury and stuff like that, it's just it's an easy fix because it does make you feel better temporarily. You know what I mean? But it's
you have a small injury, bro. You know,
that's a massive injury, bro.
That's crazy. Like, I feel like even someone who's so active, so interested, and being involved in all these pathways, to have, I know what it's like to have sport ripped out from underneath you.
It's challenging.
It's one of those things where is that now that you're looking and going, I can put my energy into something different. I've got a different purpose where
it's involved in sport too.
Still involved in sport, doing the same things, but I'm not having to pull the boots on.
Yeah, I think I definitely. I mean, I'll touch on. I definitely struggle with the painkillers. Like I kind of more mentally felt like such a different person. Like my whole personality previous to the fact was that I played sport and I was talented. That was like how I valued myself, and whether that's right or wrong, it's probably wrong in hindsight, but I'm probably more than that. But at the time, that's how I thought. And so when that wasn't there, I knew I was relatively intelligent through the work I was doing then, or at least could make things happen. And so I wanted to look for purpose somewhere else. And it just so happened, this opportunity came to fruition. But definitely struggled with the painkillers, and leading on had another heart surgery in mid 2020, and then a back surgery late 2020, and then another one in 2021, and another chest surgery as recent as December last year. So it's been really challenging, but it's taught me so much. Like I'm a different person to where I was 3 years ago nearly now, which is crazy to think about. But this stuff's really helped in the sense that it's working, which is helpful. But the challenges that I face with the work stuff doesn't compare to what I went through in the health stuff. So
you got a good perspective on shit. Yeah,
I think that's the number one. Like I'm actually really grateful it happened to me because I try to be really positive, and because at the start I was really negative for a long time. So for 12, 18 months, like my family, my girlfriend at the time, my mates, like they probably weren't stoked with how I was because I was pretty negative and pretty down. And without Superboost that came throughout that process, I don't know what I would have done. Like it was a pretty tough time. But now, I look back and go, if I was able to get through that, I don't know if I can swear, but
yeah, man,
good. 'Cause I do swear.
We swear quite a bit.
Because like I think like fuck, if I didn't have Superboost or I didn't go through that, then the challenges I face day to day, and you guys would know it, the same challenges for every business when you're starting, is like that can get really overwhelming and be really challenging and not know where the end's going to be or if it's actually going to work. But knowing, I look back now and go, because I remember having a discussion with Tom early stages around my health. Like I'd lost all this weight, I was weak as, like I hated myself, to be honest. I was like, I'm so different to how I was. I was like, oh, will I ever be back and get there? And Tom said something to me early stages. He's like, if you get healthy and you do, the things every day you need to do to get better, one day you'll get there. It'll work itself out. And that's what we always say now. Like we'll sit in a meeting and go, this is challenging, or this might not work, but we just go, it'll work itself out if we do the right things. And it's turned out to be pretty true. So I try to be really positive now. I don't really stress. And I try, like if I meet people, I try to be a smile on my face and be myself. And I think I've learned a lot through those experiences. And like, they're challenging. They were really challenging. But now I'm in a great place now. My surgery in December fixed all the issues I was having post the heart surgeries. So I'm pretty happy, and I feel good. I'm training a lot now, and don't really have, touch wood, any issues day to day. So I'm fine, which is awesome, and things are going well. So it's a good experience. Are
you allowed to come back and play or do any other sort of competitive sports if you wanted to now, or is it the thing now that you're training just to be fit and stuff?
Yeah, I think I'm technically cleared too. It's more the heart's fine. The stuff in my chest is all good, which is awesome, and I feel a lot fitter than I was when I was younger because of all the work they did there. But it's more the back, to be honest. I don't know if you guys ever had any back problems.
Yeah, I have random times where my back is absolutely cooked.
I guess old man back.
No, I was at work one day and it's probably nothing compared to your story. I don't know why I'm telling
Yeah,
mine, but I literally,
This is bad.
I was, no,
Everyone
this
has
is
their
so,
own, everyone has their own problems. Like.
so innocuous, bro. So innocuous. I was just like on a desk, like bending over to like look at someone else's computer to change, and like that movement like cooked me.
Yeah.
And it felt like I broke my back in half, and I was like, I'm in the city. I can't even sit down. I can't walk.
It's painful, eh?
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? In my head, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do here. And then it just sort of went away.
Yeah.
And I think it just must have pinched a nerve or something like that, Or,
Yeah.
But that was like, that freaked me out around like, if you cook your back, you are literally fucked, aren't you?
So it's pretty close in
Yeah,
comparison to
yeah.
what you went through and what Lach went through
Very
for half
similar.
a day.
Yeah, very similar.
Half a day. No, but it's scary. The back's scary because like I went from, with mine, like I didn't do anything. I didn't even bend over. I was just trying to recover. And then one day I was like, I got this nerve pain down my leg. I thought it had to do with my upper chest, like maybe because they broke my ribs, and I was like, maybe it's pressing on a nerve from the top or something. And then I went to the doctor, and mate, 2 weeks later, I couldn't walk. The pain down my leg was like crazy, and I know lots of people experience it. When I first got it, it was worse than the pain from the surgeries I was having, and they were sore, but this pain was just like something so foreign, and I had never spoken to anyone who had the pain. Yeah. But then as I went through it, I was like, it's pretty common, like people injuring their discs in their back, and you can fix it. So like when I realized you could fix it, I got a bit better. But there was a period there where like you get a back
like
pain
this
and you're like,
forever.
oh my god, I can't move. Like I'm never
yeah.
going to be running again. Like
Yeah.
that's how it felt. So but yeah, it's all sorted now. But
Fuck, man, you've been in the wars.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I
you
think,
got to be careful with it though. Genuinely.
yeah. Oh, mate,
scary.
now it's more, you do lots of stretching and stuff now, don't you?
I've been stretching, mate. Been stretching. Don't worry about that.
It's good to stay on top of this, but like you going through all that sort of stuff now, and it sounds like you got some good support around you, like Tom.
Yeah.
Having someone like that, like we know that we couldn't do this without each other.
Yeah,
you know what I
of course,
mean? You need to lean on. Like I admire anyone who does stuff solo, and you know what I mean? Because I feel like that'd be so fucking hard to do things like by yourself, but to have that support around you, it sounds like you help each other in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when you meet Tom, and I'm sure you've spoken to him a fair bit, like Tom's really unique as a person, and mate, I'm so lucky to know him because he is the complete opposite of me in so many ways, and the way that he looks at things, like he's had a lot of experiences. His family's been involved in charity work and things since he was 10 or 11, I think. He said so. His perspective on life is so different to what the average person's is. And for me, it's like and he's so intelligent. Like if you sit down and have a conversation with him and he's locked in, like you'll learn so much because it's just stuff that I don't think about or other people just don't think about in conversations. And I mean, from a business side of things, it helps us so much because he's always positive, always looks at things different ways to me. And I think it's been a really good pathway for us to delve into different ideas. And even now he thinks probably 2 years ahead. And he's just really insightful. And not only that, but he's an unbelievable person. I think everyone who knows Tom really well knows he's the most loyal mate, and he's always there for you. And he's been pretty successful in his life, which is a credit to his work ethic and the type of person he is and the family he has, which his family's amazing as well and what they do. But yeah, I'm pretty lucky. Like there's Tom, and then I got a couple of good mates. Matt always plays for the Blues, who's one of my best mates. Yeah. He's been my best mate since we were probably 11 or 12. And he's been through an interesting journey himself.
That always puts him in his same game multi. He loves that.
He would always let him down, probably.
He's won him a couple of good weekends. He's had a few good weekends, thanks to Matty Owies. Yeah.
So they're two of my best mates, and they're both they're pretty similar in terms of like how they live, like their work ethic and their discipline, and the way they look at things. They're pretty positive guys.
Being around it rubs off.
And it's and I know they care, like they're good friends. So I'm pretty lucky in that sense, and then obviously my family has been really supportive. My mum especially through all my health stuff, and my old man's he was in business too, so that also helps getting his advice every now and then. And he's relatively old these days, which is sad to see, but yeah, he's still so respectful of what I'm doing and always wants to help and give his feedback. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky.
Hey, let's get into it. 21 formulations before I got the bubble. Can you hear the bubble? How yuck is that?
You've been calling yourself Smoke Daddy lately, haven't you?
It's 21 formulations before you go live. Tell us what the launch moment was like. What was it like to finally get it out there? And I'm sure you had lots of, like you said, you had the samples and stuff going, but actually seeing feedback from people, having it stocked. Can you take us through the process of getting it going to market?
Yeah, so I think we really didn't have any idea how we'd do it when we first started. As I said, we were really naive, and even getting it into Tetra Pak, I think that's why 21 formulations sounds like a lot, and probably half of them were taste perspectives, and then probably a third were price, and then a little bit more were from Tetra Pak. We had to do a lot of work with them, and they invested a lot of money in research for us to get it to a certain point. So that's why it took so long, because there was so many moving parts to get a formulation like ours, which is really complicated, into a Tetra Pak. So we actually had to produce it over in Thailand, just because it was the only machine that could facilitate it, which was close enough to us. So that was challenging, and that's pushed our launch back. We were hoping to launch in late 2021 or September, November 2021, and the machine issue pushed us back about 5 or 6 months. So then we ended up launching early this year. And as you said, Rob, when you launch, it's more scary than exciting in terms of our experience. We launched into EG Group, which is a petrol chain. I think it was about 400 stores, which was really exciting for us. But it was daunting because we weren't sure what we were doing was right. And when we were at the time, we had no money and just a certain amount of stock, and knew the lead times from overseas was so long and cost of goods was so high. And it's like, what are we doing? This doesn't make any sense. But we just feel like it was so exciting to see something work, and the feedback's the most, that's probably the only thing that drove us through those periods. We knew our cost of goods were too high, so long-term sustainability wasn't going to work. So it wasn't that exciting. It was more scary. Are people going to like the taste enough where we can then work with Tetra Pak, which we'd lined up to get onshore production here in a better bottle, which is the Tetra Top Just Water bottle, if you guys have seen. We've done a bit of work with Tetra Pak on that. That was our goal. So it wasn't really, we launched to try and get a means to an end of getting onshore production. So it was scary, hoping that it would sell and hoping that people would like the product. And we had good feedback, but once it's out there and people start emailing you out of the blue, you don't know them, or they message the Instagram page, or you walk in the street and someone says I saw your product here, and they say they love it. That was really rewarding, and we did a final piece of research. So once we launched into EG earlier this year, we did a research piece. I think it was 1,000 people tasted the product. We worked with an agency to do it, and 86% of them said they drink it more than twice a week.
That's sick.
Which is real high. We were aiming for 60.
Yeah, bro.
That's a good result. So when they said 86, I think that was the first time Tom and I sat down. We're like, this might actually work.
Yeah. Well, drinks are such a competitive category. You know what I mean? There's so many different options out there, and I feel like you say it all the time. If it tastes shit, and people try and fake it with all the brand. You can push the brand heavy of people trying it with the right people and thing. I know a lot of people doing beers and shit at the moment. But again, if people don't want to drink it and they don't want to actually go back and become regular customers, then you're just going to waste and blow a lot of cash. Yeah,
it just is. I think that's the number one thing that we said to us was the taste is so important that if they don't buy it again, you never have a business, because then you need to buy. I think they were saying if it buys 2 times a week at 60% was the number we were looking for, then you got a sustainable business if your cost of goods work. Yeah. So ours didn't work at the start, but that was the number one thing for us. And so to see that happen, it was so rewarding. That was exciting, and get the validation. That was from randoms. Obviously, we sent out to people we knew to an arm's length away or closer, and it was good feedback. But when randoms
it's different, isn't it? You get honest stuff that they don't care if they hurt your feelings. Yeah, you know what I mean? And they'll tell you if it tastes like shit.
And there was some like that. Yeah. There was a piece of feedback one day, which you guys will love, because all our ingredients are natural ingredients. That's a massive focus for us. Yeah. And I got an email one day, and it was from a guy, and he's like, his only feedback was too sweet and so artificial. And I sat there, and I was gutted. That was the one thing we never wanted to be. Yeah. And to get that piece of feedback.
Yeah. So where do you live, you fuck?
It was a bit like that. I was for about 2 hours. I'm like, I've got to call this guy and just understand, why does it taste artificial? There's nothing in there that's artificial. So I'm like, what? Yeah. Why is he thinking that? And that one rattled me.
Feels personal. It's you don't even know me. I'm doing this so it doesn't. It's the opposite of what I want to stand for.
Correct.
This person can get fucked. Yeah,
that's exactly right. I was like, mate, we got a bit heated, but other than that, all the feedback's been really good. Either.
Do you reply to the feedback? Because I know that there's a lot of people, if they get negative feedback, especially online, they'll reply and give them discounts and stuff like that. So that just encourages other people to give you bad reviews because you get free shit. So it's a balance. You know what I mean? You want to be good and you want to do good things, but sometimes you just got to tell them the truth and go, maybe you're a bit right. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's your taste buds. Yeah, I think it's really by case. Case by case nature for us. If someone is genuine in their feedback, that's they'll send us a good couple of sentences or something, and we get back to them and have a conversation about it. Then that's fine. We'll try to do what we can to listen. We listen to good feedback. I think that's another thing about Tom and myself is we know we don't know much. Like we're not actually, like I would say I'm really smart, Tom.
You don't pretend.
No, like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
just
yeah.
ourselves, and
Yeah.
that's why we think we're in a really good position, is because we've had that much feedback over the period, and like we listen to it, and like some of them is pretty rogue. Like some feedback we've got is like, oh, I don't know if that's right, but then a lot of
work into it.
yeah,
Put work
yeah.
into it.
But like a lot of it, like even from like advisors, our advisory board, the guys around us, like they've always been really open in saying, "Oh, boys, do this or change this and go down this pathway because this is why." And we're like, yeah, they're probably right. Like we might think differently, but they know what they're talking about. We'd actually listen to it and don't think that we know everything, because we don't. Like, and
Yeah.
I'll always say that in meetings, and like when we're meeting people, like, "Oh, you tell me what you think, because that's why I'm sitting here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here, because I could just guess myself and think that I'm, the best thing and know everything." So,
What about doing it right in this category from the start? Like 1% for the planet, eco-friendly packaging, low calories. I feel like with the market, the drinks market being so competitive, and this is the thing that people are craving for. I feel
Yeah.
like all the other sports drinks you see, Gatorade, Powerade, plastic, wrapped in thing, it's just shit, But again, like being able to have something different that you've intentionally launched that way from the start, was that a strategy that you guys thought about a lot?
yeah, I mean, exactly what you said, Rob. Like, it was always from day one we wanted to do it. Like you see a lot of, especially in our space, in our category, like after the fact, like, oh, here's 10,000 for your local club, or down the track they try to change the facts of what they're trying to do. But for us, it was really important to Tom and I in terms of who we are as people. And Tom's rubbed off on me since I've known him the last 8 years on the environment and doing more than just being a product that sits on the shelf and a drink that sits on the shelf. And it was massively important for us to be in a Tetra Pak and be working with 1% for the planet and doing our sort of give back through our pathways is massive. And I think for us, we saw it as an opportunity because we know how much sports impacted us. And how much, and Tom's seen on his side of things, how much the environment can impact someone's life overseas and the way they live, and pollution and those sorts of things. He's been working through slums and things like that, and he's like, he always talked to me about the impact it makes on those kids, and even just their ability to dream just by seeing pollution is negatively affected. So for us, it was always important, and we thought it was going to be easy, to be honest. When we started, we were like, oh, can't be that hard to get in the Tetra Pak. Like, can't be that hard. So there was a little bit of naivety at the start, thinking it'd be easy, but it is massively important to us. So especially the give back side of things from our own networks, we know how much sports impacted us. Obviously, Tom's whole career is an athlete. I played sport growing up and nearly made it, and knowing how much sports impacted me, and discipline, work ethic, maturity, all those things you learn just as being a part of a team, and in those pathways, it gets ingrained in who you are. And we think, it's allowed us. And people always ask me, how, as you said, Rob, earlier, like, how do you go from an idea to actually implementing it? And sport, like, kind of makes you feel like you can do anything. Like, if you put enough work in, you can kind of achieve anything. Like, so that's the kind of same mindset that we put towards this, and that's why we view sport as a massive, especially in grassroots sport. That's a massive focus for us, and the packaging too. Tetra Pak's unbelievable as a partner, so we're really lucky.
I think it's easy for people to take shortcuts to get that financial reward and not have that pressure and stress, but just pack it in plastic, mate, over there, whatever. Who gives a fuck, and then we'll change later. That shit to me pisses me off.
Yeah, I feel like it's cheating.
It is cheating, and it's like, don't come back and whisper back.
Yeah,
it's like,
It would have been a shitload easier too if we did that.
Yeah.
It would have been so much easier.
Yeah, 100%. But it's a harder way, but it's the right way to do it. And like, we always think guilt free. We sit back late at night and go, we're not adding just to the fucking noise. It's like, you know what I mean? It's doing things the right way. I don't know.
You mentioned team before. How important was it to get, I know obviously having Tom involved, but like athlete owners, you got other people now supporting, big advocates of the
Let's
brand.
rattle them off. Let's give him a shout out. I'm on your page now. Big Tukey Miller. I've been seeing him all over Instagram just promoting that hard. He's loving it.
Is he a Marby boy?
I don't know.
He is.
There you go.
There you go. Katie Brennan doing some good work. Ryan Pappenhausen. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
I'll fuck that up.
yeah.
Paps. Jessica Sergis. Sam Walker. TJ Hendy. Jamie Lee Price. Big shout out.
TJ Hendy, is that Trevor Hendy's son?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No fucking
he won't love that, but yeah,
I
it is.
I had a Trevor Hendy wetsuit.
No way.
Did you really?
Yeah, fun fact.
He wanted to be an Iron Man hard, didn't you?
Yeah,
back in the day?
I want to be. I still
On the
walk around.
Nutrigrain ads.
Yeah.
And then we got
Just
Peter
waiting.
Hatzoglu. Oh, the spinner. Yes.
Yeah, Pete,
there we go, bro. So you're friends with him?
Yeah, so we're pretty lucky. Like, to answer the question, Rob, like obviously with Tom playing and then myself going through the pathways, met a lot of be it agents or athletes, and we thought early on, especially looking at overseas and a few of the brands that are going well over there, how do they cut through without money or without making the product better, making it best for the elites and the everyday? And we thought integrating all the athletes and the networks we had into the brand, and then hopefully one day being like, oh, you guys have worked on this for a little bit of time, like, do you want to come and be involved, like make it feel like it's theirs? And that's what they did. So a lot of them, majority of them have been involved for a long time now, early stages, trialing the product and being involved in branding and just trying to get them all involved. And then, once we're at a place where we're pretty confident in the product, we said, hey guys, come on board and be an owner and let's make this sports drink, pretty aggressive in the market and pretty big. So we're really lucky. And I think, talking about how good of a person Tom is, every one of those guys you just rattled off, like they're unbelievable people. Like, they're good athletes. Don't get me wrong, they're great athletes, and up the top of Took just won the Coaches Association Player of the Year. Paps is winning, the best player in the league. Dally M midway through the season before he was injured. Katie's a multiple-time All-Australian. Jess is probably the best NRLW rugby player in the country. Jamie's in the Diamonds team. So they're all elite athletes, like the best athletes out there in their sport, but they're unbelievable people. And I think that shines through in our brand, in terms of we're trying to be a really good brand that does more than just sit on the shelf. And these guys exemplify, character and work ethic. So it is awesome to have them
especially when they're rubber stamping it too. I feel like if you're going to go from that performance angle and you want your brand to sit out differently and say, hey, we're athlete backed because this actually works. It's not just a gimmicky thing. Look at the people that we've got backing us. It makes a big
40
difference.
touches a week and he just goes, bang, I drink this and I get 40 touches.
Yeah, correct.
There you go.
And it's also, I think the thing, what we really like with them is because they've been involved since, early stages, or some earlier than others, but all been involved in the formulation, the branding. It is really their brand, and that's how we want them to feel. And everyone involved in our company, especially the athlete-wise, is we want them to and not just do the classic influence. Oh, I'm drinking this. Like, we don't
go
want
through
that.
the process, see how the formulas are getting made.
Yeah,
have a real
taste taste samples being there.
Yeah,
new products there. We got Paps working on a product for us now, which and they come into meetings, sales meetings. Like they're not just on Instagram promoting the product. These guys are behind the scenes, like in the office in Richmond when they come down, coming to meetings. Involved in our marketing plans. Like, they come up with the ideas. Like that one of the videos Took did, he did it all on his own. His own idea, implemented it, everything. It's like these guys are more than just
taking the bull by
Instagram.
the horns.
It's like it's their brand and they're really driving it.
Yeah.
There's a few more we got which we haven't announced yet at the high level, really big athletes who have been doing the same thing behind the scenes. So it is really exciting. That's really cool. They're good athletes, but they're great people, and having strong relationships with them is exciting.
Are you going to build it out, or is it going to get to a certain point where it's capped? Or
I think it's interesting because obviously, as we grow, we want to get more awareness. So we'll look to, and we're lucky to have mates who play sports, so we can always bring in mates who, in different sports or different ages in their careers, or different potential consumers that they're open to. And but we don't want to go too big because these guys really are. It's authentic because it's their brand, so we don't want to start posting. Oh, Rob, post this, we'll pay you $1,000 to post this. Like that's not on our
They're not going to believe it's
at all.
performance if you see me drinking it either. What performance?
Especially after they hear all your fucking pods, huh?
Well, maybe after my comeback, maybe
I was going to say Rob's looking pretty good.
Oh, he's been
in good
trying.
shape.
Mate,
He's been trying. You've been trying.
I've been on a fitness campaign since a month before Matilda was born last year. So I realised...
I saw him running hills once. It was the funniest thing ever. And then he broke down.
After that run, so when we were living I was around the corner, I was skipping for ages. During COVID, put on a fair bit of weight. When I did my knee in 2015, I've had a couple of fluctuate up and down with weight. It's hard to get motivated.
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, it's hard to get motivated to get fit when there's no real intention. Like when I was trying to get fit to play sports because I like the competing angle of stuff.
You like looking good too, didn't you?
No, I never did. I didn't give a fuck.
No, you didn't care.
It's more like if I'm now... A little bit. Like you want to be fit and you want to be self-confident and be happy in your own skin, but I found it really difficult to get motivated to get fit when I wasn't able to still play sport, wasn't able to do that sort of stuff. So October, having the little one on the cards, I was like, all right, well, I don't want to be that dad who can't, because my knees can't bend down and play with her on the ground and shit. So from October last year, I've been on a health kick. I'm down about 13.5 kilos.
Wow.
But I've done it usually I would I'd just fast. I'd cut the weight. I'm pretty good. But now I've done it sustainably.
You're very good at just I
can cut like a boxer would do a cut. I could do a cut in 6 weeks if I wanted to. But now I'm almost. I reckon there's a chance.
You're like White Goodman. Have you seen White Goodman in
I'm
Dodgeball?
just planting the seeds
Eating the donut, he's zapping himself on the nips.
I'm planting the seeds out there because when I make a comeback, people are going to go, "What the fuck? Where did he come from?"
What is the comeback season though? What is the sport?
Yeah, are you going to play footy again, or what are you going to do?
I'm going to do athletics. I put it out there.
We had Steve Hooker on the pod, and he didn't come on for what
I was in hospital.
And he's like, call him out, just tell him I'll pants him and that. So I did. I was like, Rob, you've never met him, but he reckons he's going to pants you. He reckons you're shit. And he goes, tell him to meet it down the sandy track. And he still hasn't rocked up yet.
Oh, it's because I did my Achilles. So that run that I was running up hills, I thought, no, I'm going to shock myself. I did my Achilles running up the
Like
thing.
badly, or you tore it?
No, I've had tendonitis the last 6
Okay.
months. So they were all massive, and it was just because I was fat and shocked my body after not doing anything for years.
But anyway, what inspires you besides sports and athletes and stuff like that, like the business side, the marketing side and all that sort of stuff? I know maybe a few years ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago, you were heavy into the Gary V's like the Blink-182 gateway drug, I think, for all that type of shit. So like that was sort of the first thing that sort of got us into
watching,
that.
Like seeing that side of things, and people like we had Openco, we did a slides company back in 2017.
Yeah.
And for us, like we had a cool product. We did a big influencer campaign. We still were able to move stuff, but we didn't have a brand. And for us, like now when we started things, we've done it in completely reverse. We've built this community.
Yeah.
We don't sell that much stuff, but we've got the thing there that we've done all this hard work. We put the time into building it. And that was the thing that we really liked. We liked spending the time in this, building it right.
How do you make people care about what you're doing? You know what I mean? That was like sort of the thing that I was obsessed with.
But what got you into like starting this, like being involved and trying to start?
Seeing your dad.
It's a great question. Like, to be honest, I still put it down to sport. Like that's what I put it down to, the fact that I learned so many lessons that you can, because I in hindsight I look back and go, I probably didn't work hard enough because I knew I had something wrong with me and I never quite worked out what it was. So I'd always pull back a little bit, knowing that I was going to feel some sort of pain or not feel a certain thing when I was younger. So I look back and go, geez, my work ethic probably wasn't there. So
it wasn't that. It was more around.
Yeah, I mean, it was also like the heart and chest stuff. Yes, it was that, but I also let it go, make me not work as hard. Is the answer?
Pull back,
and like so, I look at that now, and that's probably what inspires me. Is I never wanted to be like. I realized I probably let myself be average when I was younger. I was really good, and then I let myself be average by saying, "Oh, it's too hard because I got this issue, so maybe I'll pull back here, not work as hard here, or I'm not going to be like Tom, who's the fittest guy I've ever seen and would win our time trials by a lap every time. So I'm not going to be like that. So maybe I'll just stick to what I'm good at. And that kind of made me not be as good as what I could have been. And I was actually at a camp when I was under 16s, I think. And one of the coaches came to me, he's like, oh mate, like you're letting yourself be average. And like it sat with me from there. And I was like, I never want to be average in anything that I do. So whether it's work stuff or whether it's just trying to build a relationship with someone, like I never want it to be average. So that's probably what inspires me, what motivates me is I never want to be average. So as soon as I was not playing footy and I was at uni, I'm like, I can't do this. I got to go get a job that makes me feel like I'm not average. That's kind of what motivates me. So whether that's a right answer or not, I don't know if it sounds good coming out of my mouth, but that is what motivates
Don't
me.
do something, aim small,
Bro, it's our shit all the time.
What's the point?
It's the mindset.
Everyone does shit and just wants to get through, or they go to work, they turn up and they like, oh yeah, I'll punch my ticket and I'll get home. But
I feel like you don't have the passion though.
People who come from a sports background, their mind's not wide like that. I remember sitting in the office, I was doing some stints at Telstra, and I was like, I wanted to kill myself. I couldn't believe how I go to office 9 to 5, I'd sit in this chair, see everyone all fucking miserable doing this stuff. I'm like, this can't be life.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
this can't be life.
Being miserable, like, is the thing. Like, when I was 18 and I found out I had an issue, I was miserable for that whole season probably, where I just, everything that was tough, I made an excuse like, oh, doesn't matter anyway because I'm not good. I'm not going to be good enough anyway because of my health. So I was miserable. Like, I was so miserable in year 12. Like, I was, and like any of my mates, if they listen to this, hopefully they do, I'll get around it. But they'll know, like, I was just different, and I felt so miserable because I felt so average. And I'm like, from that moment when I realised I could kind of achieve what you wanted to if you put your mind to it, I was like, yeah, same thing. I'm just going to do anything to not be average and not live that lifestyle or be miserable. And like, that's what I do every day. And like, I've had things that made me miserable at times, but now like I'll make every decision throughout the day that makes me happy and that makes me feel like I'm not average. That's really what inspires me. So I try to do that every day. It's
a good segue. Our partner of the show, Heaps Normal, non-alcoholic beer. Question we ask all our guests is, what's your version of Heaps Normal? What's the thing you turn to when you're looking to get some energy back in your life?
There's probably two things. Number one's obviously training. I think that's a great thing for me is having it taken away for so long. I realised how important it was. So even if it's just, going for a jog or I do try to train twice a day and in the morning and night and try to get through good sessions. It clears my mind. It allows me to think clearer.
He's doing 2 days.
In the singlet,
Trying to.
shorts, letting
Shirts,
everyone know.
shirts off in front of the mirror.
No, there was a long time now, similar to you, Rob. Like I lost like 30 kilos and then I put on like 50. So I was a little bit overweight for about a year there, probably early last year to late last year. So I wore a couple of layers at the gym for a while there.
Just a little bit, mate. I pretend that there's something real special underneath, but there's nothing. Like the ones that are almost too big.
Yeah, the old cover and just never take it off.
Yeah, like the big triple XL jumper, and they're like, "What's this bad boy doing?"
Does have big arms.
And I sit on the
have.
leg machine and just fall asleep like a koala, mate. Just chill out. But Jim, so you
so that's training just in general. Whether it's I've been cleared to run for about 4.5 months now, so I like to run when I can, and that's one thing because I just feel like it gives me more control and makes me, the classic endorphins. Pumps
get the
endorphins
high
out. So
when you come home,
I feel good about myself. And when I'm confident in my own, what I'm doing in my life and not feeling average, I feel like I'm a good person. Whereas when I'm not, I'm probably not the best person to be around. So I try to do that. And then also, my mates, like I'm hanging out with my mates and like building strong relationships is probably my favorite thing to do. And anyone who knows me knows that I put a lot of effort into my relationships. And that gives me a lot of energy to us. That's probably the most important thing because it it makes me genuinely happy that other people care about me and they look at me and go, we love Zav, or anyone asks, what do you think of Zav? They'll say they'll have pretty good feedback. So that's important to me, and that's probably the second thing that I like
wholesome,
doing.
and I'm feeling that today. I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
This chat. It's
good, just good vibes. You meet people, and that's the thing. Like when you're intentional about stuff, it can actually change things. Like you can make people's day. You can. From just little things, you know what I mean? And that gives, I found that almost like a selfish thing when you're giving to other people, like I have a background in hospitality, so serving, always doing that. And if you're just nice to people and stuff, it just creates a way better vibe, doesn't it? It's just like you don't have to walk around so miserable. Like wake up and choose your mood,
Why aren't you nice to me then?
Why aren't I nice to you? Because you're easy. He's an easy target, bro. Sometimes that's what makes me laugh, picking on you. So maybe that's...
It's not even like to me, it's like I feel my mates are like, they're hard on me, but I know it's because they care about me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I actually like even when you message me, like sometimes I'm like, the way you approach your messages and like, it gives me a bit of a buzz. So, I love that stuff. Like I love having mates who care about me, making them feel good, making them know that I care about them. I try to always be there for my mates, and I am really lucky. They're really good people. Obviously, not everyone's perfect, but they're across the board. They're pretty solid individuals and good characters. So I'm really lucky. But I love that stuff. Like, you'll probably get a message from me, Rob. I'll chase you up and try to get a beer with you. Heaps normal with you.
We've got a few months left in this year, which is a bit weird to say. I've said that now the last couple of days because it's sort of blown my mind that we're getting this is the back half of the year.
Yeah.
What can we expect from Superboost? And if we get you on a pod, say 12 months' time from now, where are you guys at? Yeah,
it's really exciting. I think, as I said, the goal up until now had been to secure onshore manufacturing, and that was really challenging. And we were told probably 18 months ago it'd be impossible, but it looks like in mid-September we'll have that all rolling, which is awesome, in a new bottle, which is even more exciting for our profitability, but also our it's a better format for a sports drink. So that's the number one thing is we'll be onshore in about a month, and then we're launching in 7-Eleven in early October, which is unreal to think about. It's a massive achievement in all their stores, so that's pretty cool. And then a massive grocery chain too in late October, and a lot of petrol groups in between there, so United and New Sunrise Group and a few others. So we're who knows where we'll be in 12 months, who knows where we'll be in 3 months, but we're going to keep having a crack and do a big campaign too towards the end of the year. So that's exciting too, and try to just make as much noise as possible to get through to mainstream and make you guys think of sports Superboost as the best sports drink on the market. That's the goal. Make sure you celebrate the small wins too, the ones along the way, because it is fucking hard, isn't it? Like the journey of business and doing lots of things, there's so many moving parts. So when you do have like milestones like that, go hard, enjoy yourself. It's basic from our end too. Like we've watched it from the time you sent through the samples to Lach and sending it through and like seeing it evolve and seeing it grow and now seeing it sort of catch fire and to hear that there's like some really cool and big milestones coming up. It's sick to watch and just cool to... Excited for you. Cool to meet you, bro. Like have you down and like it's just crazy. Feel good things. Good vibes. You can I wanted to ask you, Rob, if you're training, what are your thoughts on the drink? Grouse. I just drink water. So I'm like... Yeah, you're pretty simple, aren't you? I don't do any supplements. I do nothing. I just drink water and I've just been exercising. But it's grouse. I'm not like... I won't say that
because I'm not.
And I'm a drink snob, and I love all types of beverages, and I love the flavour of this.
Yeah,
It's
you've
just
been pumping up for like a year and a half now, so I know you do.
It's fucking grouse, bro. Honestly, it's legit, really, really good. That was the first thing that honestly stood out. You know, on the taste, and I was like,
Orange is my favourite. Like, if
Yeah.
I was going to do I won't mention competitors, but I like orange flavoured.
yeah. What's your favourite flavour? What if you could have one flavour about to rock and roll? If you could do anything.
Mine would be orange mango at the moment. We got 2 more coming out.
Yeah.
One in October, which is blueberry grape, which will be that'll be mental.
Just do all the vape flavours, bro. Just do all the vape flavours, black ice and lush and all that.
You'll be having a bath in Superboost.
Bro.
But that tested unbelievably.
Really?
Like, way better than these 2, and these ones tested well. So we're really excited by that one. And the packaging looks fantastic too. So it'll hopefully, that's my favourite flavour from a taste profile perspective.
How many do you have a day? Honest.
Probably 2.
Yeah.
Probably 2 a day. One in the morning and then one after training at night probably with dinner or something. So I think the best part about it is that you can have 5 Superboost every competitor that you drink. So it's hopefully a drink that people don't feel guilty about drinking, because I know a lot of the work we did on research was if someone feels really guilty about drinking current sports
That's
drinks.
why I don't drink them.
No, and I'm someone who freezes mine and drinks them in bed. So if I put this in the freezer and have it up to it goes like a little bit of a Slurpee like.
Yeah.
And then I like cutting up the carton and eating it with a spoon.
Yeah, it's beautiful doing that too. And
Have you done it?
well, the first thing, early stages, Ryan gave me a call one day. He's like, Sav, like we should really look at doing icy poles, because he's like, I've frozen 4 boxes, put them in the freezer, and I'm just munching on them like
Best shit, bro.
And I'm like, mate, we'll do it. So we might have something in the works.
Oh
on that
my
front
God.
too, but
You
yeah,
know,
it still works.
It might
So
make your life, huh?
Yeah.
Just put these in the freezer, bro. They're fucking grouse.
yeah, in the short term, definitely
Yeah.
do that because it still tastes good.
Well, man, thank you so much for driving down today and being in the studio and
We're on YouTube.
gracing us on the presence on the cam.
And big thanks to Jace for
work,
hooking us
Jace.
up.
on the
He's-
lens, mate, doing good things.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much, Dave.
Hey,
Honestly,
thanks,
it's
guys.
been
I appreciate
awesome
it.
to meet you and fucking get this in our hands again, because you're doing some amazing things. And
How do people find your stuff?
Yeah.
How do they get involved?
Yeah, so we're at Drink Superboost on Instagram, we're on about 800 stores, EG Group, Coles Local, New Sunrise Group, United in a couple of weeks, and then in October at 7-Eleven. So reach out to us and get involved, and we're trying to be pretty aggressive. So if you're supporting us, we'll support you. So get in touch, whether it's through Tom or even Tommy on Instagram at TFlip or any of the athletes on Instagram, and reach out and get involed. And
do you go in? Do you
support.
go into the stores and go, that's mine? That's
Do you take them off the shelves? I just reckon you walk in and go,
Yes. No, I do. I prefer to buy them because